think we are
Hello.
live.
I think we are.
So,
Hi, I'm Debbie. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, it's okay. You go first.
All right. I'm Debbie. I'm a speech pathologist from Holly Ridge Center, and I work with kids that are from babies all the way up to their third birthday.
And my name is Victoria. I'm a speech pathologist at Aubin Aphasia Speech and Language Center. And I have kind of a wide array of kiddos. So I have a few younger ones and then all the way up to like 19. So
That is awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about books. We're very excited about this topic. We love books. I use books in my therapy all the time, but they're just a great, fun resource for kiddos. And you can start reading books to your babies when they're tiny, tiny. You don't have to wait until they understand. You can sit with the book, and you know what? It's okay if they chew on it. I even have a plastic book that's very chewable. Um, but we're just going to tell you all different kinds of things about books and about what ages and what books are great for kids. And so we're going to get started. I'm going to let Victoria tell you a little bit about development and milestones, and then we're going to just jump into all kinds of books.
Yeah, so I have some milestones for a little bit older kiddos, so preschool up to about 6 or 7. So these are just things that kiddos are typically doing, and we know every kiddo's different, so maybe this comes a little bit earlier, a little bit later. But things that kids are typically able to do around preschool age are recognizing words that rhyme, recognizing letters in their name, starting to name some letters too, especially in familiar words or in familiar stories. They start to understand more about print. So just like Debbie said, they might start out chewing the books, but as they get a little bit older, they're starting to understand that the sequences and reading from left to right, top to bottom, things like that. And they're starting to be able to retell stories too in preschool. So maybe at first it's not really sequenced correctly, but they're starting to understand, oh, this is what happened in my favorite story, or you can ask them questions, they can answer them. And as they get a little bit older, they start to make predictions in stories too. So we'll probably talk a little bit about that when we pull some books out, but that's a really good way to engage your kiddo. They start to understand some definitions of words and start to read words too. And finally, when they get even a little more older, so 6 or 7, kiddos are typically reading some short stories, especially familiar ones that you had read to them when they were younger. They start to sound out unfamiliar words, and they start to sequence stories in logical sequences, I guess I should say. So there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. So yeah, I guess those are some milestones that kids are typically doing and things to look for.
Yeah. So for the younger babies, they're attracted to the colors, to the pictures. I love to have. Let me see. I'm going to find one. I love to have books that have really simple, beautiful pictures. Also, books with texture for little babies because this is one of my favorites. This is called Little Feet Like, and it's very, very simple. Each page has something fuzzy, little feet like fresh green grass. And if you had this book and you were holding your baby's feet would fit right on that spot when you're holding them in your lap when they're tiny. And so things like that. This book has been very well loved. I've had this book probably for 20 years. It's been chewed on. It's been taped back together. It's been washed hundreds of times. But you know what? It's still a wonderful book. And just the things for really young children, things with texture. Some parents like the ones that make sound. Those are great. If you like that, there's other parents that say, I don't want any electronics. You don't need them.
I know my mom actually, for my son, she bought a book that she could record herself reading it. So
oh yeah.
turn the page and hear her, but he likes to push the button a lot. But it's
Of
really cool what
course,
they can
because
do.
that button's there,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
but it's so cool what they can do with books now too. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's
they have the
amazing.
texture one, and I have one too that doesn't have the texture, but it has the little flip ups too. So what's underneath
Oh,
of
yeah.
it? So here,
Uh-huh.
who's dressed up? I'm trying to see if they can see it. And then, oh, it's a sheep. And my son really loves picking them up and like guessing who's under there. So
That's fantastic. I love
yeah,
those.
interactive books are a lot of fun.
You can, yeah, you can also find some that might have a puppet. This one has a little, whoops, I'm having trouble finding my camera. This has a little owl that is on every page, and this one's in Spanish because I do have some Spanish clients, but it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and you can actually even sing the song while you read them the book, and the little owl just comes along every page that you turn. He's always there, and you put your finger in here like a little puppet, and you can make it fly or dance or whatever you want to do. So this one's really fun. And I will find where my camera is. There we go.
I know. I was trying to find mine too. I
Yeah,
think it's
it's
zooming
just
close.
the opposite of Zoom. I'm turned around, so yeah,
Yeah, it's a little
everything's
different.
backwards, but
But
it's
yeah,
okay.
I
We'll
love
get
the interactive books, things that, for younger kiddos that encourages them to interact with it and start to get used to books. And then as they get older, they're already interested. And then we can add some more like story aspects and we can read along, or your daughter or son can read along with you as you're reading. So things like that. I guess next I want to talk just a little bit about maybe some things that you can do at home to encourage literacy. I think if you're okay with that, Debbie.
yeah, absolutely.
So I guess my one main thing I want to say is that reading is just the best thing to do. So reading to your child, setting aside some time each night, so maybe for 15 minutes before bedtime, we pick out a book and, maybe they don't read it, but we just look at the pictures or turn the pages, play with it, things like that.
Yeah,
Um, Go ahead. Sorry.
that's great. No, I love that routine, that bedtime routine.
Mhm.
I also like books that can give kids interactive things and things to do. This is a really good example. This is called Let's Dance, Little Pookie. And on the first page, it's the mama telling oh my goodness, is telling the little guy, let's have a dance. We're gonna dance. And the first thing they want to do is put on their socks and put on their shoes so they can dance. And then they do some hopping all around. There's the mama, and there's little guy listening to his mama. And then they might stop all their hopping and they might march. And so this just gives some nice interactions to do with a very young child that probably can't read the words. But if you say, "Oh, we're going to hop," then they can hop, and "Oh, we're going to shimmy, shimmy, shake," which is in here. And then at the very end, of course, they take a bow. Just
Yeah, that's fun.
adorable.
I love little Pookie books.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to say too, a great way to encourage reading at home is to kind of make a little space for reading. So maybe every night we read for a few minutes, and as your child gets older, they can go to their little reading nook, or maybe put some pillows in the corner, and that's their time to read. And then, of course, you guys can read together, or maybe siblings can read together. But just encouraging that time each night or a couple nights a week to really sit down and read a good book or play with a book, I think is awesome.
Yeah. It's
Um,
really nice to have them accessible. Have them on a shelf
Absolutely.
where the child can reach them instead of, up high pretty in your cabinet, but just
Right.
have them accessible so that your child can get them out and turn the pages and turn them upside down. And it's okay if they chew on them. That's okay. It's okay if they don't have the sequence right. You can help them with that when they're on your lap. We start in the front and we turn each page and we look at each page. But when they're doing it by themselves, they may not do that, and that's okay. They're just exploring it on their own. So it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and for the older kiddos too, once they kind of have that down and they are interacting with books with you, you can make it a little more complicated too. So you don't just have to read the story; you can start to ask them some questions. So, what do you think will happen at the end? And that kind of gives them the opportunity to be, playful and make predictions and things like that. I also like to ask kiddos, what would you do in this situation? So, for example, my little truck book, there's like a problem in the middle where our dump truck gets stuck in the mud. And I like to say, oh, what would you do? Like, how would you fix this? And it can kind of help with their critical thinking skills, problem solving. I'm trying to find the page. So here's our blue truck that's stuck behind the dump truck. And I guess I should give a little more story behind this one. This is where there's a dump truck, and he thinks he can do everything on his own, and he doesn't have time for friends and things like that. And then at the end, he gets stuck, and he has a lot of animal friends that come out and help him. So you could read the story, and they can learn about working together, but they can also make predictions, and you can relate things to their life too. So I really love books like for
Yeah.
older kiddos.
Yeah, I have one that I've loved since my children were little, and this is just a little golden book. It's called The Monster at the End of This Book. And poor Grover, he's so worried because every page tells him that there's a monster at the end of this book, and he's so scared, and he keeps trying to find ways to have you not turn the page. He says, "Please don't turn the page." And then he gets very upset when you turn the page. Oh my gosh, you turned the page. And let's see, he starts out by tying the pages together so you can't turn the page. And then, of course, we can still turn the page. Book. And he builds a brick wall. He says, "This will stop you from turning the page. I will use boards and nails, and we'll just pound it up." And you could even act this one out with your child. And he's so worried because they turned another page. Oh no. There's his brick wall. And then, oh my goodness, it all came crashing down, which the boys particularly like. They made a big pile. Oh no, is Grover okay under there? I don't know. I see his hand sticking out. We're almost at the end, and he says, "Please don't turn the page." And of course, when we get to the end, it's lovable furry Grover that's the monster at the end of this book.
I love that. That's so
It builds
cute.
suspense. Yes, it's fantastic. And it's a little scary without being too scary. And kids love that one of
Yeah.
all ages. I love that one, and I'm a pretty old kid.
Yeah, and something I want to say too, as you're reading along, we don't always have to read the exact events of the story either. So maybe I like to talk about my son, but he loved to turn the pages. So he's just ready to get to his
Yep.
favorite page. So I just kind of make up the story as we
Yes.
go because I can't always read everything, especially for books like that are a little bit longer. So if your kiddo's a little younger, you can still make it appropriate by either only reading one line or making up your own story, encouraging them to make up a story or make a prediction like what's going to happen when we get to the end. Do you think there's a monster there?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be a big bad monster, or it might just be Grover.
Yeah. That's a cute book.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to do, I have another book here. But especially for I guess young kids too, but a little bit older kids. I love books that kind of talk about real issues. So, social stories are another thing too, where you can talk about things that are going to come up or get kiddos prepared for something that's going to happen. But this is one called Bullies Never Win. And this whole story is about our friendly little girl. Her name's Jessica, and she has a bully at school, and she doesn't really know how to handle it. And at the end, she ends up standing up to her bully, and her mom gave her some great ideas, things to do to make her feel better. And she stands up to her bully, and she has a good dinner and sleeps well that night. So she is able to
That's
get
fantastic.
overcome. She's able to overcome an issue. So I think that's a great thing about books too. It's not just about, silly stories, fun stories, but we can talk about real things too,
Mhm.
things that are occurring in your child's life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess something else I want to say in terms of, building literacy at home. Um, oh, I just see the comment.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you for your comment,
Thank
Jan.
you, Jan. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Okay, what was I gonna say? I got sidetracked. So something that can encourage reading isn't just reading books, but talking about different events as you do them. So maybe you're planning a trip to the zoo or you're planning a trip somewhere new and exciting. You can talk about vocabulary words, things you see there, what to expect, and have your child kind of tell their story too. So maybe after your day at the zoo, you can say, "What did we do today? Let's recount our events or retell our story." So I think there's ways to build literacy outside of books too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the issues that happens with little kids is when they get owies, they're very distraught.
Oh,
So
yes.
this book is called All Better, and it has a little scenario. Here's all the friends that we're going to see, and each friend has something bad happen. The poor little doggy was running, and he shouldn't have been running, but he was. And then when he ran and stepped off of there, he fell down and hurt his paw. Oh no, what can we do to help him? He needs help. Oh, look right there. We should wash it off and maybe blow it a kiss. Mwah. And I have a band aid. And we put the band aid on, and then it's all better. And every page has something that happens. Oh, the poor monkey, he's got his band aid on already. He bumped his head. He's all better. But, things that are interactive like that, this comes with reusable band aids that the child can help put on. I have another similar one. I have a lot of kids on my caseload that do not like to brush their teeth. They just have a terrible time with that. And so this is called Time to Brush. And on every page, that when you first open the book, when you get the book, all the toothbrushes are in the cups. But of course, I've used this book and everybody's already got their toothbrush because when I'm doing it on Zoom, I just rip it off really quick. And then I say, oh, he needs his toothbrush. And another thing that I like to do with this book is I stole a song from Raffi and I made it my own. It goes, when you wake up in the morning and it's 1:45, you need to find something to do. You brush your teeth. You brush your teeth. And when you wake up in the morning and it's 4:45, you need to brush a little more. You brush your teeth. You brush your teeth. One more. And when you wake up in the morning and it's 7:45 and you say, oh no, I'm going to be late. You brush your teeth. You brush your teeth. And I love that every toothbrush kind of fits the animal. Like he has a stick. The rabbit has a carrot.
Oh, that's
The
fun.
dog has a bone toothbrush.
I can
And
see that.
the lion has a zebra toothbrush. We don't know where he got that zebra skin, but anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great book, and you can do a lot with it. So this one is called Time to Brush, and it's by Kane Miller Publishing. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, that is amazing. I have a little toothbrush book too, but it's more about cavities. So it's not as interactive. But what's
It's
going to
great
happen?
for older kids.
Yeah. So we got to brush or we'll get a bunch of cavities.
Yeah, we don't want to get growing. You got to keep your teeth your whole life, and you know what? It's a long time.
Yes, so starting early, we got to brush them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and something else I wanted to say too. at least for the older kiddos, reading is a lot of fun when you're young, but I like to think about teaching kiddos that when we get older, you can read with purpose. So you
Mhm.
could do different things at home, like reading a recipe
Yeah.
or reading how, instructions on how to fix something. So that kind of teaches them that, oh, I can
Mhm.
read to learn new things. And, like I said, read with a purpose. So and it makes
Yeah.
it fun and interactive to do a recipe with your kiddo, and we practice reading
Oh, yeah.
along. What kinds of ingredients do we need? Things like that.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you had mentioned a couple of books that you really like using with your younger kiddos. And I know we have like a PDF or a form that we're going to share with everyone with
Yeah.
some helpful information. So I thought I would talk about a couple books that I like for
Okay.
younger or older kids. You can kind of modify them as needed for, if they're a little bit
Oh,
younger.
yeah.
I talked about Little Blue Truck. I love these books. Mostly because there's a different one for like so many different events. There's different ones for holidays, things like that. They also teach really good. Oh, I thought you couldn't see it. I was like, can you
Oh,
see
no,
it?
you're good. No, I'm just reaching. Sorry.
Yeah,
My
they
book.
teach. They're hiding behind you. They
There,
teach
yes,
really
they are.
skills, just like the problem solving one. I also have a Halloween book. This is my
Mhm.
son's I took. Hopefully he doesn't know. But this is the one that has the flip ups and he can kind of guess who's under there and things like that. Another book I like is called Different Same. I can't remember who it's by, but it explores similarities and differences within a group of animals. So it talks about how they're the same, how they're different. And it's something you can do with kids too, where you ask them, like, how do you think these animals are different? How are they the same? So talking about differences and categories, things like that. I also like The Very Cranky Bear, which uses rhyming, which rhyming is really important for pre literacy. But it teaches the importance of listening to friends and it kind of talks about emotions some too. So, how do we deal with being cranky and upset? So, those are a couple books. And like I said, we have a list we're going to share with everyone at the end so that
Yeah.
you can go and get these books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite Halloween books. It's
Oh,
very, very simple. Five little pumpkins sitting on a gate. Oh, there they are. Where are they? Oh, there they are. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." Oh, the second one said, "There are witches in the air." Oh, ooh, there she is. The third one said, "Well, I don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one said, "We'll have some fun." Then whoosh went the wind and out went the light. And the five little pumpkins, where are they? Rolled out of sight.
that is so cute.
So it's simple, it's rhyming. Rhyming is important for older kids, but also for younger kids too. When they start to get that meter and they start to get that phonemic awareness that, some words sound the same. I remember a long time ago in one of our groups, the speech pathologist was passing out crackers and she just got inspired and she said, "Eat feet," and she bit the feet off. And I've never forgotten that. The kids just cracked up, but just that little bit of rhyming is so important, even for the little tiny ones. Great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Something I wanted to say about your little pumpkin book too. A fun way for younger kids, but older, like preschool age kids too, is to make some puppets. So you could have them draw, or even if they drew what happened in the story, but you could have some little pumpkins. And
Mhm.
as we read, we can move the pumpkins along. And then when it's all done, what
Absolutely.
what happened? Let's redo it. Let's redo this, retell the story.
Mhm.
So that kind of gives kids
Yeah.
a fun interactive thing to do too.
Mhm.
And makes it different. So maybe
Yeah.
we've read the story a bunch of times, but now we get to make puppets. We get to
Yeah.
color.
Or even just a picture and glue the pumpkins on the gate,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
and they
Yeah, that
can
would be
or they
great.
can move them around, like, I know some books, I've done this in the past, and I've known other speech pathologists too to print out little pictures and do like Velcro on the story, so
Mhm.
we can pull it off and put it on our strip, and then talk about it later. So it
Yeah,
gives
that's
kids
great.
that verbal support or the visual
Mhm,
support, and then they
mhm.
can retell after the story is
Yeah,
over, which is fun. Or maybe we could switch it up and tell a different story.
mhm.
So yeah, that's cute though. I love books that are like themed, like, oh, it's pumpkin season. Let's read our pumpkin book.
Yeah. That's really fun to do with Brown Bear too, where you
Yes.
have
Mhm.
all the different animals and have each child hold up which animal they have when you get to that page.
Yeah.
That way they're anticipating and they're waiting when is it my turn to hold up the bird, or hold up the yellow duck.
Yeah, and it's
It'd be
more
really fun.
interactive too. So
Yeah,
we're not just sitting
absolutely.
and listening to a story. We get to have a little puppet. We get to pull him up, or
Mhm.
maybe we drew a picture. And when it's my turn, I get to hold it up. So it's more fun, I think, too, for
Yeah,
kiddos.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess we could ask if there's any questions so far. We still have a couple minutes, I know, but
Mhm.
I was going to ask like part way through. I don't know if anyone has any questions
I've
about
loved
any.
the comments that have popped up with
I
people, "Oh,
know.
I remember that," or I used to do that." That's great. So,
Yeah.
we love
Yeah.
your comments.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we've
That's nice
and
about the Holly Ridge one too. That was amazing to see.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um, I guess I could kind of talk a little bit more about some things, some activities you can do to like promote literacy without reading a book. So one example I didn't give was making a list. So maybe we make a grocery list together and we
mhm,
talk about the things we need, and then we get to go to the store and we get to reread the grocery list and make sure we have everything on it.
mhm,
So there's just a bunch of ways that you can encourage reading and literacy without. I mean, books are amazing. We
mhm.
love books, but there's other things we can do too that
But
encourages
you
literacy.
could do that with younger kids with pictures
Yeah,
as well. It doesn't have to be a written list. It can be a picture list of
absolutely.
let's look in a magazine. Let's find pictures of the foods we're gonna buy. We can buy
Yeah.
some grapes or we can buy some bread and just make like a little picture list for that. That would be
Or
great.
maybe we could draw the pictures too.
We
So
could do that too.
we,
Yeah.
we don't have a picture of carrots, but what do carrots look like? What color are
Yeah.
they? Do we have
Mhm.
crayons? So that's
Yeah.
fun too. And it's a whole activity. And then we get to go and
Mhm.
find the carrots in the store, which is fun. So yeah, I was looking through to see if I have anything else.
This is on our list. This is Sheep in
Oh,
a Jeep. It's one of my favorite books ever. It rhymes so much. I mean, every other word is a rhyme. The sheep are in a Jeep on a hill that is steep. And uh-oh, the Jeep won't go. Oh no. Sheep leap to push the Jeep. I mean, they just put as many rhyming words in here as they possibly could. Uh-oh. Sheep shove, sheep grunt. Sheep don't think to look up front. Oh man. Jeep goes splash. Jeep goes thud. Jeep gets stuck in sticky mud. And so on. But anyway, they finally get out of their troubles. And on the very last page, they've had it with the Jeep. So it's Jeep for sale. Cheap.
oh my goodness, this
I
is crazy.
love
But
this.
I think my mom just bought that book for my son too.
It's
As soon as he
fabulous.
said it, I remember that is so
Yep.
cute.
Yeah, it's very cute.
And
Very fun.
Dr. Seuss books are kind of like that too. I have a
Hmm.
couple of those where it's like rhyming words at the top and then there's like a sentence at the bottom. So
Right.
I think it was about Sam and things that happened to him, and
Oh yeah.
each
Green
word
eggs
is
and
rhyming.
ham.
Yes, and Green Eggs
Yes.
is good, but Dr. Seuss is a fan of that too.
Mhm.
And it's cool because
Yes.
kiddos can come up
Fox
with
and
their own.
socks.
Yeah. There's so many. But kiddos can come up with their own rhyming words too. So these words rhyme.
Mhm.
What words can you think of that rhyme with these
Mhm.
words? Or maybe we can make our own rhyming story about something that happened today. So that's a really cute book. Oh, I actually have one. I thought I had a Dr. Seuss book.
There you
Well,
go.
this is the rhyming one I was talking about. It's not about Sam. Oh, maybe this isn't the rhyming one. But it's still really, I mean, Dr. Seuss is a fan of rhyming. So I was late for school. I started along and I saw that 6 more things were wrong. And
Oh
I love
no.
books like this with a bunch of pictures too, because we can read the story, but then we can also say, what do we see in the back? What color are these? What do you do with a house? Where is our house? Things like that. So there's so many opportunities to kind of grow language too. We have some animals. There's just so many things going on in this book too,
Great.
which
It's
is really,
fantastic.
and they're always weird. Dr. Seuss
Yeah.
books.
Great.
But this is all about wacky things that are going wrong with this kiddo. So I thought I had a Dr. Seuss one. I was like, I think I brought one.
Yeah, I have Fox and Socks somewhere, but I don't put it with my other books because the one I have is an antique and it's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's
Love,
old,
love.
very well loved. It's falling
Yeah.
apart loved.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, and he has a shoe on his hand.
Of course.
There's some cool things, and you don't even have to read the story. You could say, "What's wrong with this picture? Where do shoes go?"
Oh no.
Yeah, he has a shoe on his hand, and the cat is surprised.
Mhm.
I love Dr. Seuss books.
Let's see.
Yeah. I went through all of the ones I brought.
Oh good. I love books with songs. This is Puff the Magic Dragon. I'm not going to sing for you, but I could, but I won't. I won't trouble you. But it has the whole songs in here, and you could teach your child to sing the song, or you could play the song while you looked at the book, and you know, and it's beautiful. It's beautifully illustrated. Puff the Magic Dragon. Also makes me cry every time I read it because it's about losing your childhood, and all my babies are all grown up now, so that's why I work at Holly Ridge, so I can have new friends, new baby friends. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's cool too. With rhyming and nursery rhymes. That's what the word I was looking for. So
Yeah.
you can teach kids songs, and then like the books. There's a lot of books that go along with the song, so we could sing the song, and then afterwards we could look at the book or do them together. That's an amazing thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, one that works really well for that. I don't have it right here, but there was an old lady that swallowed the fly, and all the different things that she swallowed, and she just gets bigger and bigger. Kids love that.
I know the silly books are so much fun.
Yeah.
And they just are a lot more engaging too. So what do you think she's gonna swallow next? Yeah, that's awesome.
And what's going to happen?
I know. I love doing that too, like asking for predictions. What will happen next? What would you do in this situation if you saw an old lady swallow all these things? So
Yeah.
it really kind of helps them build up those critical thinking skills and stuff. So
I love books that repeat as well,
Yeah.
so that they get something predictable, but then you add that new thing on the end. That's really good. It's really fun to have props. I should have brought them in, but I have the 5 little monkeys that jump on the bed, and I have the little pack of monkeys. So, when we read the book, we pass out the little monkeys. Probably have a monkeys here somewhere. No, I have a llama. You can have a llama jumping on the bed, or whatever. But just having some props to go along with it. If you have the good night book, if you have a blanket and a stuffed animal so that they can tuck in their animal the same way that's going on in the book, that gives them some better comprehension of what the book is about, I think. So,
yeah, and they can retell with the I know I said this before, but they can retell the story too after with the props. So like you said, tucking in, or what happened in our story. Let's use our stuffed animals or our puppets to talk about what happened. So, and then we could go back and look and see if we were right.
Yeah. And I was thinking about the, where is it? Here's my hungry caterpillar. I'm pulling all my books off my shelf. I didn't think I was going to. I had them all picked out, but the very hungry caterpillar, you could make a snack, look at all the food that the very hungry caterpillar has. you get to this page, all the different fruits. You could make a fruit salad with, we're going to put in the apple and the pear and the blueberries and the strawberries. We're going to eat the same food that the hungry caterpillar had for lunch. And then maybe we might eat some of these things. We'll see.
Yes.
But because there's a lot of food there. But just making it relatable to their daily routine, I think is really cool. We read the book about the toothbrushing, and then we go brush our teeth, or we read the book about the hungry caterpillar, and then we have our snack.
Yeah.
Or we read the bedtime book, and the mommy tucks in the baby and gives them a kiss, and then we do the same thing. Your mommy's going to tuck you in and give you a kiss, and just relate those stories to their everyday life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it helps them relate to the books too, and it makes it more engaging and exciting when, they
Mm-hmm.
can see the
Mm-hmm.
characters doing the same things they do, and we can talk about things that are going to
Yeah.
happen in the future. Like I had mentioned, social stories. I love using those with kiddos who struggle sometimes with social situations. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's something coming up that we think will be stressful, or they will have some difficulty transitioning. So we can kind of get ready.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a holiday coming up. What's
Yeah.
going to happen? Let's read a story about it, and let's prepare. And then when it is
Exactly.
occurring, we can say, remember in our story how how our friend fixed or dealt with these stressors or issues,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's something we can do too.
Yeah. Yeah, social stories are great too. You can make them up yourself, and they're
Yeah.
just fantastic. I was talking to a parent this morning. Her little boy is sad because daddy's been having duty, and he's got duty for like 3 days every 6 weeks or so, and he's, where's daddy? And I said, well, how about if we write a little story about when daddy goes to work, all the things he does at work, and then on this day he's coming home, so that you have something that you can relate to and read to your child, to make that real, because daddy didn't just disappear. He's off doing things, and he's working, and he's helping people, and it makes it easier to
Yeah.
understand the things. So
And I love that you said you can make them too, because that's a really good
yeah.
point. So even sitting down with your child, I've done that with clients too, where let's
Mhm.
write the story. We're having trouble with this. Let's write our own story. And how do you think we can make this better or easier? Come up with ideas together.
Mhm.
It's a little
Mhm.
bit different than daddy leaving, but you could talk about, well, daddy's going to be gone for these couple days, and here's where he's going. And then, like you said, reference back to it if, the kiddo is having
Yeah.
trouble, or yeah,
Mhm.
asking where daddy is. Oh, let's read our book about where daddy
Mhm.
goes. That's
Mhm.
amazing. I just love social stories.
Yeah, I do too. Social stories are
They're
great,
great.
and
Great
and a
tools.
lot of the books right off the shelf are in fact social stories.
Yeah.
They have a dilemma, and they have a conclusion. How did we solve this problem? But you can make those up yourself for your child, and it's really fun to sit down and draw the pictures, or to take pictures and print them, and let the child glue them together. Oh,
Very hungry
somebody
cat.
says
Thank you
that's
for your
fantastic.
comments.
Thank you, Sri. That's great.
Yes, that's a great one too.
Yes, I
We
love
love
the very hungry caterpillar. You just can't beat it. I even
that.
have it in Spanish.
Oh, nice. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of things you can do with books. I mean, ways to make it different. We don't just have to read the story. We can talk about,
Mhm.
different things that we see in the books, different vocabulary words, what
Mhm.
different words mean. And, starting to, like I said before, we can kind of make up our own story about the pictures. And then as kiddos get older, start to read along or have them read. And I think
Mhm.
something important too is, even though if your child starts to get older and they are starting to read on their own, I think it's still really beneficial to read together or read to them, because they're still
Absolutely.
building skills.
Mhm.
So you can never read too much.
And it's a nice social activity. It brings people together, I think, to
Mhm.
read together. So
Yes, yes, it's just amazing. Yes,
yeah, so I'm wondering if our audience has any questions.
yes. I know we covered a lot of
We
things.
did. We
I'm
Zoom.
Yeah, and as I said before, we're going to be posting some like a recap, some helpful
Mhm.
books or things, activities you can do at home, so you can reference that too, because we did cover a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things Carissa said is when you like if you have the Hungry Caterpillar book, you can pretend to eat the food that's in the book.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh boy, I'm going to eat these strawberries and eat those oranges. They're so
Mhm.
yum, and kids really love that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Okay.
particularly nice over Zoom when we can't really hand them the book, but we
Oh,
can pretend, and
I know, and that's something too is great thing with Zoom. There's books online too.
yeah,
So there's
absolutely.
wordless books with just the pictures, which makes it a little bit more flexible and
Hmm.
fun. And there's other books you can find online, and
Hmm.
sometimes I try to do like interact with the book, so we draw on top of it through Zoom and things like
Hmm.
that. So it's a
Hmm.
little more flexible. We don't want to draw on
Yeah.
our notebooks, but it makes it silly and more fun. So
Yeah, and the library has a collection of books online that you
yes,
can get.
yes,
So,
yeah,
um, and real books. Go to your library and check books out. You don't have to buy a library worth.
yeah.
You can get them for free.
And that's a fun activity. Go and pick out the
Oh
book you want
yeah.
for a week or the couple books we're gonna look at, and then it's an activity we do together. Even
Hmm.
if we do it once a week or once every other week, that's
Hmm.
fun too.
Yeah, it's a nice little outing.
Yeah.
Now that the libraries are finally open again, it's great.
Right. Right. Well, I don't think we have any other questions.
Okay.
So, are
Well,
you
this has
okay
been
to?
fun. I,
Yeah.
I'm. I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah. I appreciate all of you tuning in and your amazing comments and
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I think we had a good time. I had a lot
I
of fun.
think I had fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
seeing
Thank
how
you,
our host.
Victoria, for and sharing
Yeah,
the space and
thank you
sharing your knowledge.
too.
Yeah.
It's always fun to kind of discuss with another SLP, and I feel like I
Yeah.
always learn things too. Like,
Learn new
oh,
things. Oh, I'm gonna try that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. All
All
right.
right.
Well, thank you again.